Hello and welcome back to the 14th episode of the Wealth and Wisdom Podcast. This is your host, Michael Loftus. First, apologies. Been an interesting fourth quarter. Had a little disc issue on my neck. Good news is got it fixed before the end of the year. You might be able to see that. And we are back strong in 2024, ready to continue to bring podcast, market updates, educational videos, so please do consider subscribing. Also, obviously listening here on YouTube, but we also have this on all the various podcasting platforms. Links below if you'd like to subscribe there as well. So, kicking things off, quote of the month: an investment in knowledge pays the best dividends. Ben Franklin, love that. Saw a documentary on PBS last fall. Even being from Philly, learned quite a bit about Ben, so I do recommend that. So knowledge is definitely key, and it's always changing, so I want to make sure we keep on top of things. So in this episode, we're going to do something a little bit different, maybe a little visualization. What do I mean by that? Well, first up, our first topic is going to be how to successfully climb the retirement mountain. So let's go on a journey. This is what I mean, all right? So first up, preparing for that climb, right? You see the big mountain in front of you. Lots to be done before you put in your first stake. No, I'm not a climber, but I'm trying to do my best here. So just like the investment world, right? As you start that ascent, you have to be prepared. Planning is key, right? That's why we recommend our financial plans, tax planning, etc. Being able to look to the future, having a plan to execute what you want to achieve, right? Understanding the terrain, it can always change, right? Same thing with the investment landscape. We have taxes, inflation, we've seen quite a bit of that recently, market volatility, sectors in, sectors out. So understanding all of that is good on your retirement mountain. Next up, the ascent. The ascent to the top. Thinking of climbing Mount Everest, right? This is all those years that you've put together, right? Learning, putting money away, saving, preparing for that day when you can finally retire, right? So you have to think about, though, again, what kind of conditions will you see in the future? Now, we never know, but that's why, again, going back to step one, financial planning, we can go through all types of different scenarios. We can run what's called Monte Carlo simulations, good markets, bad markets, bond markets being down, up, whatever the case might be, extra expenses, you name it, long-term care. That allows us to prepare. Strategic planning and risk management are essential in the ascent. So next, base camp. You're working your way. Well, boom, you take a break, right? Same thing goes on your retirement journey. There's different stages. I think of my son graduating last year from Villanova, right? He's in the industry now. He's working. He's got his 401k. They've got a nice match. He's also putting extra money away in brokerage account to save, hopefully one day, for his first home. Now, that generation also likes to do a lot of vacations and travel. That is their base camp, no doubt about it. For me, I'm in a different place. My base camp started 5 years ago when my son started college. Last year, I had 3 kids in college, 2 this year, 1 graduating this year, down to 1 next year. So that's my base camp, right? That's where I'm right now. I'm looking at all of that. What is in front of me? It could be paying off your mortgage, whatever the case might be. But every now and then, there are steps. It's not a true ascent. You have to stop along the way. There's just different challenges, and we need to address those challenges. Changing weather, right? No doubt about that. As you're going up the mountain, it is obviously unpredictable. So are the financial markets. So is your retirement plan, like I said a minute ago, right? There's things that jump in front of you. You know, markets go down. Hopefully you've got an investment strategy to minimize that. Talked about taxes. We've talked about inflation. Inflation now, sure, CPI is done, which is rate of change, but actual costs are still up 20%, right? Is that into your plan? Being able to go along as things change, look at the plan and make change as you go forward. The summit, right? The top. The summit, it's like entering retirement, right? But it's also time you want to make sure you don't make any mistakes. Now, that being said, as you get there, you look around, you want to enjoy it, but things don't change or don't stop when you start retirement. They're just different challenges, different mountains, different ascents, different base camps, etc. We restart, we look at those goals, we're constantly looking at that, and in our case, updating that financial plan in order to be able to take care of that. Next is the descent, right? You want to do that descent safely, right? This is your distribution phase of retirement. We've got withdrawal strategies, tax strategies. We've got great software to make sure we're taking it in the most efficient way, meaning which accounts do we take that money for you, and ensuring that your retirement savings will last. So again, the mountain climb, just like retirement, very easily. So next up, continuing to go on this topic, right? A little visualization, the ultimate planning mixtape. So side story here, a lot don't know, some do. Started DJing in college. At one point, DJed at all the big clubs in Philadelphia, DJed in New York, Washington, D.C., Los Angeles a couple times. And to this day, yes, I still have my equipment. I still have fun. 3 or 4 times a year, I'll come out of retirement just for some fun. Okay, so let's talk about music, the retirement mixtape. So volume number 1, we've got Dream On by Aerosmith, okay? First up, so what is that about? Dream on. What does your retirement look like? Dream about it, think about it, plan about it, right? Setting those goals, right? Estate planning, all of those different things. Making sure you don't just dream about it, but you put it to reality by doing that plan and planning accordingly for the future. Volume 2, who do we have up? Bill Withers, Lean on Me. Classic song, classic soul song, one of the best albums ever. I love Bill Withers. So many good songs from his collection. So, what is it? What do we go here and lean on me? We all need somebody to lean on. Same goes for retirement, right? Obviously, hopefully a financial advisor that can help with the investment side of things, right? This is a different market. It is not the same from 2 years ago, 5 years ago, not even close to 10 years ago. It's gotten so big, and options and all kinds of stuff going on. Having that professional help you. Same goes for taxes, making sure you have an accountant to help you out. Estate planning, helping through those type of things, making sure you have professional help that you can lean on. Okay, who do we have next? Volume number 3. Michael Jackson, Don't Stop Till You Get Enough, okay? Keep on with the force. Don't stop till you get enough. I just watched the Michael Jackson Thriller, 40 years from Thriller, that album, and it kind of went through his history as well. Another good documentary I would recommend, so that's why I added this one on. So stay in the course, right? While you're getting ready to retirement, the savings, the retirement planning, thinking about that, making sure that you're staying with it over time. Sure, like I said in the last area there, base camp things change, but staying true to the long term is what you want to look at as you go forward. Waiting for the right time, potential risk associated with retiring prematurely. So this is why we do that financial plan. By the way, you can click below, get some information on that. So we want to make sure that your monies do last. Now, over the last couple of years, for us, when we do our plans, we're always updating those to make sure. Because again, like I talked about, inflation, expenses, things happen. Will they continue to last? We want to make sure that that happens. So next up, we have volume number 4, Little Reggae, with, of course, Bob Marley and the Wailers, Three Little Bird, another great documentary, and the Bob Marley film is coming out, I believe, in the spring, which I will surely be watching. So, Three Little Birds, right? A lot of different things. You could look at emotional challenges over that time, right? What happens when you're planning for that? The fear, the anxiety, all those little things, right? That could be number 1. Diversification, right? Now, diversification is different than it used to be, in my opinion, the way we do things. It's not just being 60-40 and sticking to it. Some investments are in, some are out, right? Gold, for instance. Now we're in gold. Gold wasn't in favor a few years ago, right? So having that diversification, being willing to make changes, and the long-term perspective, right? Looking at that and looking at your retirement planning. I think I've said enough about planning today. Probably have one more, but who knows? So next up, we'll get a little bit more contemporary here with Taylor Swift. Of course, how could I miss Taylor Swift? Change, her song Change. Because these things will change. Can you feel it now, right? Things change, right? Still working? Into retirement. That is a big change. We tell people when they retire, we do the plan in advance. We revisit after 6 months, look at the numbers, see where we are, and make any changes as we go forward. But change is definitely going to happen in retirement, right? Budgeting retirement, lots of changes, right? Medical costs, inflation's what we talked about, taxes that we've talked about. New refrigerator, just had that done last week. Yikes. It is not what it used to be, but new roofs, you name it, right? All kinds of things happen up. We have to prepare for those unknowns in retirement. Finding a purpose, right? As you go into retirement, what's going to be your purpose? You spent years working, so maybe it's charity. Maybe it's still part-time. Maybe it's a new passion. I've got clients that do photography and follow that, go after that, right? There's so many different things that can happen. Change is good. So hopefully you liked my visualizations there. So now let's get to our mailbag. All right, so as I get into this, I read these questions quickly, but don't really write anything down. So I'm just going to read them off the top of my head and give you my best answer. Let's go. I'm closing on a new house in a few weeks, and I need cash for the closing. It's probably delayed because this was a couple months ago, but my current home is going to sell in time, so I won't yet have the money from that. I don't want to make a big withdrawal from an IRA and pay all those taxes. So should I find some type of short-term loan? So as always, not understanding your full situation, I think there's a couple things you could do. One is what's called a bridge loan. Okay, I've had clients, I've helped them get that as they transition from one home to the next. They might need a 3 to 6 month bridge loan while they're selling, while they're moving, whatever the case might be. Most banks can help you with that. As far as taking it from the IRA, if you have to do that, okay, you have 60 days to put it back. Now, tax consequences, what time of the year you're doing that, but depending on your timing, if you know you're going to be done in 60 days, you could take it out, don't take the taxes, make sure you put it back within 60 days. You'll get tax documents on both the distributions and the deposit to balance those out come tax time. So, sorry, I forgot to tell you, that was Harriet in North Carolina. I get these from our YouTube channel. Jim in New Jersey, we have homes in 2 different states, and we really like both of them. We're both currently 57 and would like to retire at 60. Is it worth selling one of those homes to make this work? So again, don't know your full situation here. So a couple things. One, this is why we do that financial plan, right? What would it look like if you kept both homes in retirement? Now the question is, do you need both homes? Are you moving one to retire? Do you still want to be close to the kids? You know, I've got clients that still have homes or condos close to their kids and then they're in Florida, or in this case, the Delaware beaches. It just depends, right? So that's really what it comes down to. One, let's do that plan. What does that situation look like? when you do a plan, you can do scenarios. So let's say we keep it for the first 3 to 4 years, then we sell it, we take the proceeds, put it in the plan, which obviously can be used as additional income, okay? Oscar in Kansas City, thanks for watching. I retired 3 years ago, but I just did the math and discovered that my withdrawal rate for my savings is about 6%. Is this too much? Boy, I feel like a broken record here, but I don't know your current situation. So the typical, nothing's typical in life, right? We talked about change in the last section, is 4% rate that you'll be taking out. But that just depends, right? Going back to the plan. A financial plan is money in, money out, surplus, deficit, right? So let's take a look at that. And then what does the portfolio look like over time? I've got clients taking 2%. I've got clients taking 0%, taking their required minimum distribution, putting it into a brokerage account. And I have some that are taking, 4, 5, 6%, as long as the portfolio can sustain that. So it really does depend on your current situation. Make sure you get that figured out. And I will finish up with this. I have a few CDs that will be maturing in the next year. I'm worried about what the market would do. So should we reinvest? So it depends on where they're going to reinvest. I mean, I'm not a big fan of CDs. Yes, you've got these teaser rates right now. But one issue with a CD is what? It's not liquid. You're locked up for 6 months, 1 year, 18 months, whatever the case might be. And markets move quickly. So there are a lot of options today that you can get a 5% in the money market, 100% liquid, real nice rate of return, okay? Risk-free return, just like that CD, but key is liquidity. So depends on your situation, depends on your liquidity, income needs, but for me personally, I like to go with the money market. So thanks so much for joining us again. I promise we will be back to our regular schedule of once a month podcasts, market updates, educational, you name it. Thanks so much for watching. Michael Loftus, Wealth in Wisdom TV.